Sherwin here with the Julia Journal. And do I have my guests queued up on the line?
Yes, ma'am.
Fantastic. I've got the authors of Permission to Die, Candid Conversations About Death and Dying, Stuart Bagatell, and we also have Rabbi Tony Fratello. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having us.
Oh, it's great to have you. This is, really quite a groundbreaking book. Tell me a little bit about, the reasons why you wrote it.
Well, thanks. Yeah, my name is Stuart Bagatell. I'm a general internist in South Florida. And, I've been visiting this part of the country to visit my grandparents since I was a little kid. And I was always fascinated with, the older population. And when I went to medical school, I got involved with, caring for folks in nursing homes and got really interested in end-of-life care issues. And, I really felt like a lot of our patients often didn't, get a chance to really share what they wanted towards the end of their life. And I felt like it was a conversation that we all should be having. And so, just in my own journaling and my own writing, got together with some like-minded folks, and we came up with this wonderful book.
Yeah, I think it's just sort of human nature, and every time we talk about the prospect of dying, it evokes such fear in most of us, of course, reasonably so, especially as we're young and healthy, and, many of us don't want to think about aging and that future of getting to that point. But then I just had a conversation with a lady whose mother was 101, and she said to her, "Listen, I don't know why I'm still here. I'm just ready to go."
Yeah.
And of course, I can't imagine having those feelings, but I'm also not that age. So through your research, you've really learned a lot about this segment of the population, and it's really about dignity, right?
Absolutely. It's all about patient choice. And, we always talk about, these life events that happen. You plan for a child being born or a wedding or a bar mitzvah or a confirmation, whatever it is. But, how much of us are doing the planning that's necessary for that, last inevitable event, that we know is going to happen. So why not make it the best, that it could be? We all have thoughts about what we think a good death is about, and why not voice that wish? The book is really not written in such a way that we kind of hold ourselves, that we know all the answers, or that we suddenly are the experts in dying, because quite frankly, none of us have ever done that before. But what it is just a collection of our experiences. We're a rabbi, an internist, a social worker, and a neurologist who just come together and share our thoughts and feelings about it. And just really the message is that you're not alone going through this. We're all humans going through this crazy world together, and, we're ready to listen.
Right. Do we have the rabbi on the line with us?
I know he's still holding, is what he has indicated.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, let's see if we can patch him through. I'm just talking to my producer here to see if we can work that out, because we'd love to get his perspective as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, for people who maybe are approaching this stage in their lives with their parents or with their grandparents, what would you recommend?
Well, I think just being open and honest and having a conversation, first asking for permission. Do you want to talk about this? And a lot of times, when asked in surveys, most folks want to talk about this. And so you shouldn't be shy to have the conversation. There are great tools out there. There's the Conversation Project, which was started several years ago by the Institute of Healthcare Improvement, that has downloadable worksheets that you could work through with your loved one to really have almost a script for the conversation. So there are tools out there to help people, guide them through this conversation.
Right, absolutely. What kind of time did it take all of you to really hash this out and, do your interviews and your research and put this together?
Well, and I don't know if the rabbi's on the phone yet.
I am.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Sorry about that connection issue that we had. We've got him on the line now.
Not a problem.
Yes, thank you very much. And that's Rabbi Tony Fratello. So, I was just asking Stuart what kind of process, was it, and how long did it take for you to, put all this, these conversations together in your research and your collaboration? What was that like for you?
It was a wonderful experience working together. These are some really incredible colleagues. Sorry, I thought I'd turned my other line off. I apologize.
That's okay.
It began with some brief conversations that we had where we realized that each of us had very similar experiences dealing with patients or clients or congregants. And we began it as almost like an exercise, a thought exercise, as we kind of wrote our own experiences and then kind of grew from there. And it took us, I would say, several months as we developed the questions that we wanted to address and the bits and pieces that we wanted to think about. And then it sat for a while as we sort of try to figure out what the best way to try to get the message out there to the community as a whole. And fortunately, over the course of the past year or so, we've really brought it into its final form, and we've been able to put our work into print. And now I think people are really benefiting from the work that we've done.
And again, the title is Permission to Die, Candid Conversations About Death and Dying. And there are four of you who've co-authored, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
And it's important to note, and again, I apologize if this is something that Dr. Bagatell has mentioned already. Some people, I think, make a mistake about the book, that it's about euthanasia or physician-assisted suicide or something of that sort, and that is absolutely not what the book is about. The book is about having the conversations with family and loved ones and caregivers about end of life and what our wishes are and what our thoughts are and our hopes are. And what we find is that these are critically important conversations that people have to talk about their emotions and their desires, but a lot of times they don't have an opportunity to have those conversations, and it's important. It takes away some of the fear and some of the I guess. These are not easy conversations to have, but having them makes the experience less terrifying.
Right. No, I can imagine. They're not easy conversations to have. And have either of you found that, you may have this conversation with someone who's 70 and, 20 years later, they may change?
Sure.
Yeah, it's very common for folks to change their mind as their illness progresses and as their thoughts and feelings change about life in general. I mean, it's well documented in the literature that is very common, and so that's why this conversation is not a one-time conversation, but a conversation that happens over the course of your relationship with a patient or a family member.
Right. I mean, it's sort of like with any phase in our lives. I have a parenting show here on the station, and we talk, you talk to teens about maybe it's sex or drugs or, navigating that aspect of their lives. And those are probably conversations that you need to have multiple times and, every so often. So with any major life event like that.
Absolutely. And though we stay the same, in a lot of ways, our thoughts and our ideas and even our values change. And the approach that a teen or somebody might have in their middle age might be very different from, looking back on it at 70, 80, or even older.
Right. No, absolutely. So this book was officially published this year, right?
Yes.
Indeed. You can get a copy on Amazon and hopefully at some point in your local bookstores.
Absolutely.
That was going to be my other question to you, for sure. Do you have a website that you can point people to, or is it just pretty much get a hold of the book and?
I don't think we have a website, Stuart. We do have a presence on Facebook.
Yes, we do. You can find us on Facebook, Permission to Die, and let's see you can go to, facebook.com. Seek Publishing is our publishing name, Seek Publishing, SEAK, and you could certainly friend us on Facebook, and we'd be happy to communicate with you.
That's wonderful. It's just a great resource, and again, I think it's important that you emphasize the fact that it's about conversations. It's not saying one way is the way to go, or this is not a recipe for this is not Dr. Kevorkian stuff.
Right.
This is very much about opening the door to the dialogue. So thank you for being with us today on the Julia Journal, Dr.